Thank you, sir. So we'll move next to streets and parks and MBH and LRS and solid waste and highway relinquishment. Before we start, in this year's budget, we combined the line items for streets and parks. Superintendent Lyons has been operating both as one department. How long now?
3.5 years. More than 4 years.
So some of his employees, they're often in the parks, all of them, some of them are on the streets. They switch between both departments, so it makes sense to have all line items within one department. Aaron, there's not huge changes in yours beyond 2% raises for the employees, and then the combination of the departments. Where was our increases at, Aaron?
In the general, the street parks general.
Yes, sir.
Back in last year's, there was 2% across the board on the wages. And then we pretty much combined everything. So I don't believe there was a whole lot of extra money. Put in a couple extra payments for the equipment.
I'm sorry, are we on page 20? Is that where we're at?
Wait a second.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
What you're saying here then is these outrageous changes like 673% because you combine parks and streets,
Correct.
or the streets, parks, miscellaneous. Then we're all just combination of adding line items from the parks.
Correct. The only difference, Aaron, so the street superintendent with that 673.9% change, Aaron was taken from 4 different line items. He was taken from general streets, MBH, solid waste, and wastewater. What this does is takes him only out of 2 line items, general streets and wastewater. About 81% from general, 19% from wastewater. He's been paid out of waste ever since streets took over the stormwater system in the city of Delphi. To negate the amount that we increased in the general fund, we decreased resurfacing in the general fund by that same amount and put that resurfacing in MBH. So any additions beyond the 2% into the general fund were met with transfers into MBH with resurfacing. Does that make any sense?
So in 2016, 17, and 18, taking line item 8111, are those the combined numbers of street and parks?
No.
No,
And how can we compare
because
that?
that
Well,
was.
yes,
strictly-
actually that is because Aaron didn't get paid anything out of street, or out of parks in those years.
It's strictly out of streets.
Just a second, I have a different document that still doesn't show it. So I don't have anything that shows the combined streets and parks as one line item.
That's kind of the danger of making this a combined budget, because it make it a little tougher to track what streets or what parks cost.
Yeah, I'll say something, because it bothered me for a long time. Aaron wanted to combine it before, especially when it comes to wages. And it bothered me because, strictly from a bookkeeping viewpoint, I want to know what streets spent, and I want to know what parks spent. And also in the back of my mind, even though you think you you want Aaron to be here, and you hope he's gonna be here another 20 years. But what if he wasn't? What if you combined it, and then 2 years later, Aaron says, hang this up, I'm going over here and making more money and less headache. Then you've got someone that comes in and they don't want to do both, and you make the determination to divide it back out. You can always go back to archive data. With Keystone, from the time Keystone came in here and put software on, I can automatically, right now, go downstairs and go back to 2011. Everything beyond 2011 is called archive data. And I can call Keystone and they can go into archive data and pull it up for me. So even though there's that time frame that each year is only accessible to me, there's always the archive data to go back. So if it happened 10 years from now and it wasn't in my regular screen that I could pull up, you could still go back to archive data and see what the budget should have been at that point, figure your increases over the year, and you could still see what they used to spend and be able to budget from that.
So you're sort of okay with this now? It is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's a whatever. My word, I like that word, whatever.
It's nothing new, it's just a bond.
Yeah.
There's an increase in building gas of $500 because the street department's taken over part of the old fire department, so those
Mhm.
have gone up.
Yeah,
There's an
street.
increase in electric for the same reason, from
Uh-huh.
1,200 to 1,500.
Mhm.
Everything else should be the same, or the same accounting for 2%. There's an addition of a line item, landscaping hardened salt, which would include mulch, any repairs to streetlights that we have downtown that we own, benches, trash cans, things around, generally around the downtown. We need to add a tree or bush in the bump outs or anything else with landscaping going up the South Hill. That's where that landscaping hardened salt comes in. The proposal was 7,500 on that. Then an item I wanted to get feedback from the council on was park infrastructure. I didn't have anything in that line item. You've got estimates from Milestone on a couple different projects that we could do, so I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. So the only real increases I can identify at this time, building gas, electric, that landscaping hardened salt line item.
Did you just mention a while ago of Aaron getting paid out of the wastewater?
Correct.
What's that for?
That was when the street department took over the storm lines.
But our distribution rate isn't that high out of wastewater now, so why are we? I don't think so. I go down to my payroll department, pull up my distributions for the different ones. I don't think it is.
You had 19% on the wastewater?
Yes.
That's what you said.
If we had the,
You take a
oh, here, I can pull up the 2018 wages, which will have the breakout.
Aaron, I have a question. How many full-time employees do you have?
There's, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Okay. How many part-time do you have?
1.
One?
Is that year-round part-time, or?
Yeah, I try to leave him year round. He used to work full-time for me. So his hours will increase a little bit from spring to summer, but then he handles the reservations throughout the year. handles the reservations for the scout cabin
Oh.
and stuff like that. So basically from November to March, he doesn't, there's not really a lot.
And then you had summer help.
And then I had,
What for?
this year I was able to get 4.
And what did they do?
They did anything from power wash to boardwalk to mowing, weed eating, pulling weeds.
You were pleased with their work?
I was actually very pleased for, I really was.
When you say 5 full-time employees, is that?
That's myself.
With you?
Yes, with me, yes. So you got myself, you got my foreman. I've got 2 laborers, and then I've got a position open that will be filled next week. So there's 5 of us total. So when I say 5 full, that's me.
Okay, okay.
Check the 2018, or the wage ordinance for 2018 makes $4.82 out of wastewater, out of 2667 for a total of 18%.
And what were those other percents out of street, out of general?
For this year,
It's street in general, and then it's NVH and solid waste.
I thought you was eliminating some of those.
right.
He is.
And so I would put, I think wastewater is at 18 or 19%, and general's at 81 or 82%, or somewhere in between.
Remember you reduced the servicing? For
Right.
servicing the street?
No, so that was part of, he was paid out of MVH, now all that's gone into general. The reduction of resurfacing in general added to resurfacing in MVH.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
We do this year, though, should
Yeah.
make it a lot easier next year.
Right, right.
Line item number 8240 miscellaneous, why does that have to be 9,500? Why does it have to go up so far?
That included,
Aaron?
That's both departments.
Okay.
That's both departments combined. So neither one of those didn't necessarily got raised between parks or streets.
Okay.
So the street department had a miscellaneous line item, which can cover anything from paint to something uptown, to just about anything. Same way the parks department, department's miscellaneous, that can be a run out of infrastructure money, that could be cleaning supplies, that could be, in general. So neither one of those got raised, just combined.
When you talk about the 8362 park infrastructure, is the blacktop trail needing to be redone? I thought that's what the park advisory said.
There's several things down there that need addressed. The walking path is one of them,
That's what I mean.
basketball, tennis courts.
So why did we put 0 on? Or-
I wanted to get a discussion,
There's-
hear how much the council wanted to put in there
Oh,
with the cost estimates that we had.
Why do we have only one estimate?
This is just a budget proposal.
For the milestone?
Yeah.
So how much is it? Like,
Walking path, their estimate was 30,000.
wow, that's a lot.
Why hasn't it done?
Sure needs done.
Mhm.
Sad shape.
Is it still used a lot?
Oh,
Yeah. Anytime I go by there, there's people down there. I stopped down there for a softball game the other night, and as hot as it was amazing to me how many people were
The
down there.
backside against the hill is ate up. There's a lot of trip and fall hazards
Oh,
out there.
yeah.
We were walking it the other night and I thought, oh, it's cracked, lifted,
tree, well, proposals.
trees.
So moving around the tree, or certainly we have to remove them.
Mm.
It's not long from being a liability, I don't think.
You're not asking for all this in 1 year, are you?
No.
No.
That's why I left it blank to hear discussion from the council.
This is a product of the workshop or the walk around we did done with the Board of Works spring. That they wanted to address some things, so there were some notes taken. Some of the stuff I obviously already knew about, the walking path. The asphalt road back there around the close to having the loop, and some of it's apparently bigger ticket item needs to be addressed at some point, so.
Your line item 8220, under garage and motor, I see it went up 71.4.
That's a combination of parks,
That's a combination.
Yeah, that's
parks
very,
and MVH.
yeah, that's very deceiving. Those numbers don't,
There was 10,000 in parks, garage and motor, and 5,000 in MVH garage and motor. So they just combined in one line item.
Okay.
combine the two, but the spreadsheet, when you put in the percent, it looks like it's,
You got an appropriation report laying on your thing, and that was for 17. But you can go back and you can look, Parks 101,009 and Streets 101,008 numbers. So that was 17, so it's gonna be a little bit higher in 18, but
These projects that has been singularly bid on by Milestone, what, can you prioritize those at all for us?
And I think one caveat, if I could add, is the Boy Scout loop and the entrance drive could be taken out of the resurfacing and could even possibly be part of a community crossings grant in the future, because they are on our pavement asset management plan.
What do you start to say?
I was trying to put some thought into it. I don't know, it all needs to be done. I mean,
Right.
it's, the walking path is in pretty bad shape, but yet so is the road. So, but if the mayor's saying that we can take that out of community crossings, then that negates those for even the budget money there. Those can be taken out of the resurfacing and applied for community crossings. So then those two would actually come out.
Which one was that, the walking path and the bicycle?
No, that would be the Boy Scout loop, and then the entrance drive. So then that would leave you with the walking path and tennis courts. And I guess if one's going to pick, I'd have to say that the walking path at that point is probably the worst of the three. With the tennis court probably running a very close second. Not a whole lot of people that use the tennis court anymore. Most of them are using the school. Couple thoughts on that. That could be converted over to another basketball court. But currently, the tennis court has cracks in it that are, it's not even suitable for tennis, really. But I would have to start with the walking path after. If those other two items could actually be taken out of community crossings and out of the resurfacing budget.
Well,
I
like you
think it
said,
would have the biggest impact to do the parking
I know my son and them, when they play tennis, they always go up to the basketball or to the high school because of that. But you always see people down there walking.
Yep. All hours of day and night.
So tennis courts and then restroom lot, which would, probably the restroom lot would be next, or?
Yeah, well, it depends. That restroom lot. Yeah, so I would say the walking path, probably tennis and basketball courts. The entrance, it's not terrible. It can probably at some point go in conjunction with maybe the parking lot. Kind of tie that together maybe.
why wouldn't the restroom want to come out of community crossings?
That's not a, so the Boy Scout loop and entrance drive are roads of the city of Delphi and their pavement asset management plan.
Yeah.
Parking lot is not.
Oh, it's a parking lot. Well, I would agree to put in 30,000 under park infrastructure and get the walking path done.
And Aaron does have other park infrastructure expenses throughout the year. I believe in the past, we budgeted 7,500 for normal park infrastructure. It would be amenable to the council to set that amount at 37,500, which would be the walking path plus regular infrastructure needs as he finds throughout the year.
Would be what price?
37,500.
I would agree with that.
Any other thoughts from the council on park infrastructure?
I think that's a good idea. So, I mean, with everybody that, like Aaron said, and Councilman Garrison said, everybody uses the park. Folks mentioned, they got the out park, what, 11 o'clock? So 11 to say 5, nobody's supposed to be in the park. But I know that the elderly gentleman that I used to run around with quite a bit, him and two of his buddies at 5:30 in the morning would be in the park to walk 5 miles. And I knew a lady that used the park constantly.
Every morning.
So, to upgrade that walk is really necessary. I really, I don't have any problems with that.
Well, on that line, item 8363, the hard and soft landscaping at 7,500, you said not to go below 5,000, and I'm not saying that we should either. Do you think that you only need 5,000?
Honestly, can't tell you, because some of that is obviously with the advent of all the mulch that's in town. I kind of snuck some of that out of the existing line items, because we didn't have a line item for the downtown or the city. We own lights
A
out.
lot of area to,
There is, we got lights out on the east end of town that belong to the city, all the downtown lights are ours. I've hired a contractor once or twice now because I couldn't troubleshoot something and had to hire somebody to fix those. You got mulch, you got bushes that we've died that are no longer warranty. Do I think we need the whole amount? No. Is it enough? No. It's kind of one of them things where we'll just try it, and then next year, if we only use a third, then let's.
okay, let's leave that at 7,500 then, because it is pretty significant.
It's a lot of area.
Mhm.
So you're gonna try to cover that?
And then there's the need for
that
trash cans, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Seriously, trash cans, maybe, so you can use it for just about, a lot of things. Whether it's hiring contractors to fix stuff, mulch, more trash cans, which are in dire need, I think we're on 4 uptown.
Well, I know your solution's for people to quit smoking, but I would like to see those, if you're gonna do those nice black metal trash cans, they also have those nice, instead of those plastic ones like we have, black metal for cigarette butts, because I never got so tired of picking up cigarette butts out of every one of those roundabouts.
I can't agree
And
with
that's
that.
what they all do. I mean, they just, huh?
Go ahead.
What did you just say? Then just stay out of the pistachios.
It's taking your food away.
Mhm.
Why is
Okay,
park
Aaron's
utilities
budget.
gone up to 11,500?
I think that went up 500. It was 11,000, I believe. And again, I think we were running a little short on.
It was 11,500 in 2018.
Was it?
It says 0.
Well, it was 0 under that line item number. When it was still within the Parks Department, it was 11,500.
I don't see how you expect us to compare these when you've got just one item or one department all the way up to 18, then you combine them to 19. I can't even comprehend what we're doing.
So
Yeah, I
your
would've thought you
18
would-
column is, go to your parks. Go to your parks appropriation for 18.
Uh-huh.
You're there. So just go right down and read it right now for parks 18, and off to the side, write it down. As he goes down for each one of your line items, and then you
Well,
can.
But they're still not combined, that's the problem.
That won't,
That's-
Well, it's a little creative this year, but I think, you know, if we're to believe everything that we're told, I don't think it's all that different. You know, they didn't increase wages, but by 2%, and, you know, I think we can understand the space now occupied by streets where it used to be fire department, that's a little increase. So putting in the park infrastructure, the hardscape stuff, I think. And then 8434, that's an increase, I assume.
8434, park landscaping?
Yeah, I mean.
That's not.
It was 2,000 last year.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't show.
Yeah,
Shows
it's-
it is.
Yeah, it was
That's
2,000.
Yeah,
It was.
because of the combination. So the storm sewers, what do you have to do for the storm sewers?
Repair any storm sewers that either collapse. I've actually got 2 proposals on my desk now for the storm line up on Wabash Street running from Summit to Vine that we've repaired a few times. So I've got 2 estimates on my desk currently.
Does somebody come in and do that milestone or something?
Yeah, we'll hire a contractor to do it. And that got done way before me. That was under, I think that happened when Russell was the street commissioner. Bonnie somewhere.
I don't even see an 8434 on this appropriation report.
Well, it's a combination, so.
That's a new line item.
So it wasn't 2,000 last year's.
It was, but just with a different line item number.
The old line item was 433, last 3 digits.
$2,000.
Mhm.
101009433.
Gotcha, thank you.
The utilities were 9350. They were 11,000 last year.
Correct.
It looks like you spent 11,801. Spent it year to date.
I noticed 8433, Aaron.
8433.
Yeah. Resurfacing, that has dropped 41, well, about 52%.
That's because we put that into MVH.
Okay. Uh-huh. Well, that's why I got, I want to know where, you know, why it dropped so far. Okay.
So there was
Coming
60,
out of NBH instead of
Okay.
on this appropriation report, there was $6,200 in park resurfacing. What did you do with that money? Because it don't look like it's been a year to date.
That was in 17.
Oh, that's 17.
Yeah, that is 17.
That's
Yeah, that
17,
was-
babe.
Thank you. Now you're giving me old paper for,
Well, just to confuse you and make you ask questions.
I woke up this morning. that
Congratulations.
confused me.
It worked.
Are there any other line items within the general fund council would like to discuss?
Is, oh, I never mind, I see what it is. I was gonna ask you about your street sweeper and backhoe, but those are payments for your street sweeper and backhoe, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay.
And the street sweeper was a 7 and the backhoe was a 3-year.
Yeah.
There's nothing further. We'll proceed to some of the other funds that Aaron oversees on page 23. within MVH, we took out Aaron's salary and moved that into the general fund. We took out the funds from garage and motor and moved that to the general fund. Everything else we kept the same except for resurfacing, and that change should be just about what we added into general. That's with Aaron at 2%.
I'm okay with MVH.
Any other comments regarding MVH?
All right.
How much of the resurfacing money did you use this year, Aaron? I know we budgeted $100,000 last year,
We,
for this year, right?
for all three,
Oh,
between
okay.
general, MVH, and LRS, we budgeted $160,000 for resurfacing.
Okay.
Now, last year, we were doing a lot of work with community crossings. We encumbered whatever funds we had left, and then we used that as our match towards community crossings in 2018. So, out of the resurfacing, he hasn't used a ton, but the plan is to try to encumber some of that if we get awarded Sam Milroy to act as our match if we have to, depending on where bids and everything else come back.
Is that the figures you have, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm looking at my spreadsheet, I keep, on my spreadsheet, I keep a running tally, I've got roughly $96,000 left in the resurfacing line item itself, but we had some encumbrances in there. I've got about $3,000 left in LRS, and MVH resurfacing I haven't touched, there's the full $55,000 in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments regarding MVH? LRS kept the same at 15,000. Any problems with that?
Since we're videotaping, can you explain what MVH stands for?
Motor vehicle highway,
And LRS?
local roads and streets. There's no comments on LRS. We'll move next to solid waste. Changes in this fund, we reduced, or we took out paying Aaron from this line item. While Aaron does oversee solid waste, the majority of his time is spent on streets and parks and storm and that stuff. There's I won't say very little, but the majority of his time is spent in the other funds. We reduced spring cleanup because we've been taking it out of contractor trash, and those expenditures have been